Hey ladies, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to come on and do this video because I came across a very interesting article off of the New York Times. And the New York Times, I think you have to pay a subscription. Well, I do have a subscription to New York Times, so I wanted to come on and share this article with you ladies about how a black woman decided to stop dating white men in particular. And she only wanted to date non-white men, so black, Hispanic, Asian, or what have you, biracial men, because she was having such horrible dating experiences with white men specifically. So I just wanted to go over how crazy this article ended up turning out and how this black woman had high hopes that she was going to find the most amazing and perfect black love. So in a minute, I'm going to show you ladies the article and we're going to go over it and discuss a few things. And I'm going to highlight some of the key parts of the article to kind of expose the delusion that this black woman had while on her quest for love. Because as you know, if you've been listening to my channel and my content, majority of the black women that watch me are interested in interracial dating so that they can choose the love life that they desire. But the title of this article is called Accepting Applications for a Black Boyfriend. A lifetime of dating white men. After a lifetime of dating white men, I hoped a new romance could offer a chance at love and at embracing my own blackness. So there are a few things. The first thing is that she clearly associates her blackness with who she dates. And that's number one thing you don't need to do no matter your race when you're dating. You need to associate character and who the person is that you're dealing with. You need to have a strong sense of self and respect for your own culture to the point where you're not looking at the person you're dating as the validating piece to your heritage, to how you view your heritage, right? And the fact that she's associating color with love is her biggest problem. Now, there's nothing wrong with her having a preference based on culture, meaning certain men of certain cultures have different values, which is what she likes, but it is an issue to base your dating life base your blackness as a black woman on your dating life. That's not smart. You're not going to get the results you want, and you will not look at interracial dating in a genuine way if you do it just like this. So she goes on to say, I am no longer dating white guys. Non-white guys may submit their applications in my DMs. These words posted on my Facebook page marked the beginning of a racial reckoning in my dating life. Some context. It was June 2020. George Floyd had just been murdered. Black people like myself were consumed with rage and were openly airing our grief. So she needs to burn that cape, basically. On top of that, I was a woman scorned. I was 35 years old, a highly educated black woman, a homeowner, and an attorney. And I had been rejected by yet another mediocre white guy who then pursued a relationship with a white woman. So she's sharing her frustrations and her reasons as to why she decided to have this resolution of no longer dating white men. And it's not about not dating white men. And this isn't me caping for white men about how amazing they are. This is me exposing her delusion with associating her dating life with her race and with her culture and with her heritage, and failing to look within herself as a woman as to why no matter what the color of the man is, it's not working out. And this is an important story to read, ladies. And this is why I encourage black women to tell your experiences, good and the bad, so that they can be revealed to other women who haven't gone through this and to save them from going through this. So I do applaud her for even revealing this story, but we do have to deep dive into why she even thinks this way and why she thinks not getting with a white guy is going to be the answers to her problems. Even if it's the reverse, not getting with a black guy is the answer to your problems. Now, I promote interracial dating and swirling on this channel for cultural reasons. Black men can very well be within the dating pool if they got themselves together as a group, as a collective. There is simply just research to prove that Black men are not all the way there for partnership compared to men of other cultures because the value systems are different. And that is how you should be looking at it when it comes to dating. Value, characters, morals, those things matter. And if a group of people are kind of all sharing the same values and characteristics, you need to be very cautious of that. Then she goes on to say, and then this popped up on Facebook Messenger. Application submitted. The message was from Josh, whom I went to high school with 18 years earlier in Maryland. He was tall, handsome, smart, funny, and successful, and Black. I had briefly reconnected with him at a bar in Baltimore in 2018 when I was in town for a work conference. We had flirted, but I remembered from Facebook that he'd gotten married, so I flew back to California at the end of the conference with a wistful what if feeling fluttering in my chest. So later on in the article, she talks about how he was no longer married anymore at the time he sent this Facebook message. Then she goes on to say, but I had never, not once, dated a Black man. And I'll be honest, I had always felt a kind of shame around that, as though my not dating Black men reflected a deep-seated insecurity with my own Blackness. But here was an eligible Black bachelor offering me a chance at love and a chance at embracing my Blackness. Josh and I started texting. We had a couple of video calls that were awkward at first, but became more natural. I suggested flying out to Baltimore to see him, and he agreed. On the one hand, it seemed wild and reckless, jumping on a plane to visit someone I barely knew, and during a pandemic to boot. But on the other, the whole thing felt like something out of a movie. I was flying 3,000 miles to have our quote-unquote first date. So she does find her Black bachelor man who's on her level, right? Education-wise, he's ready to date her and give things a shot and finally pursue something that she's kind of always wanted to see the result of, that she never got the chance to with this man, right? So she's thinking that because he is Black, because she already aired out her frustrations on Facebook, that she's finally going to get what she wants. She's making it all about color, not character. She clearly hasn't watched any videos in the BWE space, am I right? So she's thinking that this is really going to work out. And ladies, there is no problem with this. If a man does contact you wanting things to work out, and you want to give it a shot and you feel confident, hey, by all means. But pay attention to how you're going about these things. If you're going about these things out of frustration, think twice and think a little deeper as to why it takes you being frustrated to go to another side, instead of you believing that morals, characters, and values come first, and you are noticing that certain groups have certain values and characteristics, and that is how you are basing your decisions if you're going to make it about race. Like most first dates, there were uncomfortable moments. Josh was reserved and rarely volunteered information about himself, which meant it was hard to get to know him. And while there was definitely a mutual physical attraction, there was a shyness in Josh that only seemed to fall away with the help of a few drinks. Still, I chalked that up to our still getting to know one another. She should not have done this. The fact that a man doesn't want to open up to you unless he's tipsy is already a red flag. That he is emotionally unavailable, closed off. He could be entertaining another woman. He could be emotionally involved with another woman. This guy sounds like the typical Black bachelor that is exercising options, which is why it's hard for him to open up to you in the first place. However, on my last night there, as we gazed at the city lights over the inner harbor, he turned to me and said, "You know this isn't going to work, right?" Completely out of nowhere. I asked him to explain. He said our personalities were too different. I'm outgoing, high energy and emotional. He's analytical, quiet, and calm. I, both a romantic and a lawyer, attempted to argue my case. Doesn't love find a way? And he, the realistic number crunching one, pointed out the obvious practical hurdles. With the physical distance between us, there was no way to properly date or figure out how we would fit together. Now, this is interesting, right? at least he's being honest. So, well, at least he's claiming the obvious, that his personality is completely different from hers. There's distance in the way, and there's just no way to properly form something. However, the fact that they were already at dinner and he was acting standoffish and closed off, that's already a sign, right? It's like he kind of already knew this. So what was the point in flying her all the way out there? Well, we can safely assume, which is going to be mentioned later, that it was probably for physical intimacy. That's probably the main thing he was looking forward to when it came to her flying out. Because no man is going to fly out a woman that is not going to sleep with him. I mean, let's be real. Especially when you're talking about these type of black bachelors that are into the Kevin Samuels high value, have options type of BS. They're not going to do anything with you unless you're willing to give it up. They say it online, like this isn't something we even have to debate. It is simply just the truth. The next morning, he drove me to the airport and I asked him to visit me in California. I don't know why she would ask him that. He gave a non-committal answer. I left wondering if I would ever see him again. Turns out I would. A few weeks after my Maryland trip, Josh asked to visit me in California. I was thrilled. I convinced myself that he wanted to visit California to see if he could make a home here with me. So she convinced herself that he's coming to California to retry whatever he made very clear wasn't going to work. And she was under the impression that all of a sudden he had a change of heart. And I'm here to tell you, ladies, when these men tell you exactly who they are, you need to believe them. You need to stop having hope for potential that he changed his mind. These men are grown, especially if you're dealing with a high earning, highly accomplished man. You can say whatever you want about his character, but one thing you can't really say is that he's dumb. Because if he was dumb, he wouldn't be able to make it at the top ranks that he's been able to make it to. It takes a smart man in terms of intellect and social skills and all that stuff to make it there. But clearly, she didn't pay that any mind. She told her own story. And this is what happens when you're a woman who's not tuned into your femininity, tuned into your intuition. When you want to make up your own realities for how things are supposed to go, and you fail to understand that it's not going the way you want. You need to stop dating from ego and date from reality. And finally, she goes on to say, as someone who had always been an open book, I was frustrated. When I drove him to the airport at the end of the visit, I had a hollow feeling. So he came to California. I skipped over it, but he came to California and nothing changed. He was still very standoffish and not opening up at all. When I drove him to the airport at the end of the visit, I had a hollow feeling. Why weren't we clicking when we were perfect for each other, at least on paper? Same hometown, same education, same career-driven lives, and most importantly, or so I thought, same race. How was this not kismet? It all came to a head in the spring of 2021. Josh invited me to Baltimore for the Preakness. So he invited her to fly out again after telling her that he's not interested. An annual horse race and social events, but a disagreement over a coffee maker before I arrived. He didn't own one, and I got caught up. He didn't own one, and for reasons I couldn't fathom, he didn't want to have one on hand for my visits, pushed me over the edge. I said, if you can't even keep a coffee maker for me, it's obvious you don't care enough for me to fly 3,000 miles to see you. To my horror, he didn't argue. I said I wasn't coming, and he didn't try to change my mind, and that was it. What the hell had just happened? How did my lofty dreams fall so flat? Did I really fly to Maryland and him to California? Wow, so she flew him to California during a pandemic for nothing more than a booty call. Ladies, this is a cautionary tale of you not burning the cape. You divesting or swirling or choosing to date out, not getting the results you want in that type of lifestyle, and then wanting to go back into the Blackistan, into dating within your race. And I'm here to tell you that, first of all, it's not about race. Second of all, it's about culture. It's about morals, values. And she's so into dating by color that she's forgetting to date by character. She can't see character. She's choosing men that obviously don't want her, and they literally make it clear. But what I disliked about reading this is that the black man knew he didn't want her, but continued to want to see her. And then she confirms it at the end that it was all for a booty call. And that's the thing about a lot of these high value guys. They have the money to spend. So for them, it's never going to be that big of a deal. Yes, they will actually fly you out for a booty call. Yes, they will make it clear that they don't want you. They will not open up to you. They will not talk to you about their lives. And they will pretty much shut all the way down emotionally when it comes to you. This is how it is. That's the game. And so to avoid men like that, you need to pay attention to the signs early. And then she finally goes on to say, over time, I realized my attachment to Josh was more intellectual than emotional. I had tried to make him kind and well-meaning, but unable to match my spirit or provide me the emotional connection I wanted into my perfect boyfriend because he was black. Josh represented the first time I naively attached my worth as a black person to the success of my relationship with a black man. But dating a black man will not make me more black, just as dating a white man won't make me less black. I am black, period. Regardless of the race or ethnicity of my next boyfriend, I'll know one thing. Whoever loves me next must love all of me. So that was the end of this article. What do you ladies think? I want you to write down below what you thought about it. But this is a cautionary tale of a black woman who actually was a swirler, and she actually dated out and dated interracially, wasn't getting the results she wants, or she thought she would have a perfect relationship because her man is white. So she thought she'd have the best results. She didn't, and so she tried to date black men. Little did she know, she said that she never dated a black man before. Well, little did she know that no matter their money, they kind of all have the same mentality. What she didn't mention, so I can't confirm this, but what she did not mention in the article was that the white men who didn't want her, at least they didn't string her along. Those white men would end things with her and then they would move on. The black man in this article made it very clear on their first date that he wasn't interested, and he continued to string her along. He continued to message her, got her to fly him out. He flew her out again, and then she admitted that it was really all for a booty call, or so that's what she thinks, which is most likely the truth, because why else would a black man who does not want you keep on checking for you? Now, I'm not saying this is something that only black men do, but it is a cultural thing that they actually pride themselves. You can see it online. They pride themselves and congratulate each other on how much they can use women, right? Even the men in suits are still navigating their love lives as pickup artists, right? This is where the whole exercising options comes in. This is what exercising options looks like. That man, that black man, was using her as an option, was exercising her. He probably has a whole girlfriend somewhere. He probably has a wife, for all we know. Who knows? But ladies, this is a cautionary tale when it comes to swirling and dating interracially. You have to pay attention to the signs. Men of every color are capable of pretty much all doing jacked up stuff. But we already know that a lot of the men in this community, especially the ones in suits, they make it clear that they will do some jacked up stuff. They brag about it online. It's a pattern, and it's obviously different than other groups of men, which is why I encourage black women to date out, because there are just certain values and principles you're not going to find in black men. It is what it is. It's just the truth, versus dating non-black men who are still capable of doing jacked up stuff, but the value system is different. A lot of them aren't going to see stringing you along as worthy of their time, because they're out here trying to use their time wisely and date intentionally. So if they don't want to be with you, they'll let you know and they will actually leave you alone. Versus the black man in this story, and like lots of other black men who clearly don't want you, tell you that to your face, but won't leave you alone because they still want something from you. They want to use you. So that is just the pathology that runs rampant in the black community amongst these males, men, aka males. So I'm sorry to this sister that she went through what she went through, that she had a horrible experience dating only white men, but it also seems that she has some healing to do. She has some growing to do. She is a professional woman. She is giving me the vibe of Miss Independent mindset, mentality. So her being self-aware is probably going to be a little difficult. Her not dating from an ego is probably going to be a little difficult. And I say that because she literally convinced herself that the man who told her he did not want her, she convinced herself that actually maybe he does and he's trying to make it work because he wants to come out to California to see me. And that is ego. That's your ego talking. It's not reality. And it's definitely not your intuition. Your intuition is telling you this is probably a booty call situation. Your intuition is telling you that he's not really interested. Your intuition is telling you that you need to move on. You need to start choosing better men. Your intuition is also going to tell you when there's red flags and when there's things you need to pay attention to. So I hope you ladies really enjoyed reading this story with me. This is a little different format. I usually reveal lots of articles and data during my lives, but there's going to be some that I find kind of on the sly, and I'm just going to come on and make a video about it. And so we can just talk about it briefly. We can discuss in the comments. But if whether you're a swirler, divested, or on the fence, this is a cautionary tale that all black women especially should pay attention to. That the grass definitely isn't greener on any side. And you can still go through rejection and redirection no matter who you date. But pay particular close attention as a black woman to the type of men that's in our community. They still think differently than everyone else. There is research to back this up. And the fact that she met a black man who on paper they were exactly the same, could have been the legitimate power couple, but for whatever reason, he was not feeling her. And you need to pay attention to those signs. A lot of these black men do not want to have a power couple type of relationship, even though those relationships reported to be the most successful. They just don't want it. They're more into exercising options, which is literally what this black man did in this article. I feel actually kind of sorry for her at the same time that she fell for this, but the signs were plain as day. I don't know why black women continue to date expecting these fairy tale results from men who never were raised to be kings or princes. They were raised to be more in the savage mindset, more in the mindset of Future, and not really in the mindset of like a Russell Wilson. If I had to say a black man that is of some kind of caliber that doesn't fall into this stereotype. These men want to be out here exercising options. They want to waste your time because they want to sleep with you. But little do they know, and it's sad that they can't realize this, that they're wasting their own time. They're wasting their own time. They'd rather go out into life being emotionally unavailable, wasting other women's time, which is wasting their own time, than to find something real, than to actually learn how to choose a wife and choose one. And there's so many women that are going through things like this, and it's really, really unfortunate. But I'm really glad that she did share her story, because this can help a lot of women who are also confused or new to swirling, divesting, or just dating interracially. Please don't look at a man because of his race like he's going to be perfect and like you're not going to have to go through the simple and basic procedures for establishing a good relationship. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to understand how to build relationships. You're going to have to understand what it means to be self-aware. You're also going to have to be very good at listening to your intuition, because that is going to be your best and your most direct guide. Your intuition is going to keep it real with you no matter what these men say. So you've got to listen to it. And you've also got to pay attention to actions. Actions speak louder than words. If these men are literally not doing what it is that you will feel required and what you feel comfortable to have you sure that the relationship is going to work, if the actions are not there, you need to also leave that alone, or at least not take it seriously at all and continue on elsewhere. So, this is a cautionary tale. Black woman decided to stop swirling so that she can give black love a chance. And that was even worse than her swirling, because at least the white men, so she claims in the article, weren't stringing her along. They were letting her go and it was over. But when she tried to give black love a chance, she got strung along. Now she accumulated emotional baggage. Her time was wasted and her money was wasted. She even flew a black man out. So this video is to encourage you ladies to continue to do better. Burn the cape. The lesson has been learned, and I really hope that you guys learned something from this video. Comment down below your thoughts. I will leave the link to the article in the description. Like this video, turn on the notification bell, and I will talk to you ladies in the next one. Bye.